righty. Hello, hello. Round two. All righty. So, good evening. Try not to mess with my hair too much. Good evening. Good evening. Um, I am going on here tonight because I have some business to take care of tomorrow, and I made the final decision to move this live to Wednesday nights at 7:30. So, um, doing the post tonight, so we have it for the week. I don't want you to go without, but I don't want to wait till Friday. And Wednesdays will be easier for me. So here we go. Chapter 2 of The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. Natalie's Cliff Notes. If you have any questions, please put them below. I read all of my messages and I'll do my best to respond to you in a timely manner and give you an answer if you ask a question, or we can just banter back and forth if that's what you want to do. If you have something more in depth that you want to talk about, I can be reached at pullyourpowerback@gmail.com. And with that, let's jump into it. Chapter 2 is called Consciousness. And I quoted Mr. Goddard as saying, "It is only by a change of consciousness, by actually changing your concept of yourself, that you can build more stately mansions." The more stately mansions is a quote from the Bible. Um, the manifestation of higher and higher concepts. By manifesting is meant experiencing the results of these concepts in your world. Now, I've said that his way of speaking, having written in the early 1900s, is a bit different. The word usages are somewhat different, or it's more chewing involved in order to digest the information. So, step by step this with me, okay? Um, the manifestations of higher and higher concepts. So, being able to activate higher and higher concepts is the result of, nope, by manifesting is meant experiencing the result of these concepts in your world. So you can make bigger and bigger things happen in your world by knowing how to work with the concepts. Okay, consciousness is the one and only reality. Remember when I said uh, the mind is all and the universe is mental? That's from the 7 Hermetic Principles. So this is a bit of expansion on that from his understanding. Consciousness is the one and only reality. It is the first and only cause substance of the phenomena of life. Nothing else causes things to happen other than consciousness, from what he's saying. So, based on your beliefs, based on what you're used to, what you're interested in, what you can imagine, based on your imagination, the scope and scale of your imagination decides, affects the reality that you live in. If you are on Instagram, today I saw a post on Erica Badu's page. You can flip through there. It's the one with 2 images of human bodies and an earth in the middle. One person is envisioning like butterflies and good things on one side of, projecting that to one side of the earth, and on the other side, that other person is envisioning fire, fire and destruction. And the caption line underneath it is, things are not, things are as we think they are. You know, our perception, oh boy, I really should. Things are not, things are the way that they are, not the way that we perceive them. Something to, let me see if I can pull this up right quick. That is so bad of me. I should not have turned this tablet off. But basically, however you view a thing is the way that it manifests for you. If you've ever been in a situation where you expected bad things to happen and they happened, it's because you magnetized that vibration to yourself. The consciousness that you had in your mind is what built the reality around you in that circumstance. Okay? Let me go on from here right quick. Nothing has nothing has existence for man save through the consciousness he has of it. So once again, the way you think of a thing is the way in which it exists. Give me a moment. Let me see about pulling this thingy up. Fruit comes from the tree that grew it. So depending on your mindset, you will produce the fruit. You will produce the results of what you think. You will produce the results of how you think. The quality of your life is built on the perception of that you have of it. The quality of your life is based on your perception of the capabilities of it. Okay? Our differing consciousnesses bump against each other. So our individual concepts, however we think about a thing, bumps up against each other. Pull this up right quick. I tell you, when people make fake pages, it's a frustration. Haha, it's the first one here. Okay, so the actual quote, we don't see things as they are. We see things as we are. And that's by Marcos Alvarado. If you can, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. Okay. IG folks can see it. There we go. There's a bit of a reflection here, but there. If you go on Erykah Badu's page, look for that. Right now, it's the first one that she posted up there, and it says, we don't see things as they are, we see things as we are. So our impression of things is how we perceive it. So 6 different people looking at the same tree will see 6 different aspects of this tree. You know, nobody sees everything exactly the same way. And it's because we're looking at it through the lens of our own perception. Okay? All righty. I just said it. I spoke ahead of my notes. 6 different descriptions of the same tree. The descriptions reflect what is inside each of us. We approach the tree based on our impression of it and get the results of our impressions. Now, With that last part, us approaching the tree or us approaching a situation based on our impression of it, whenever you enter a situation, if you enter the supermarket and you expect to see all the best produce, you expect to be able to gather everything that was on your list, if you expect to have positive interactions with the staff and other people, then you will tend to magnetize that, manifest that experience. If people sometimes people will energetically feel you if they're empathetic, if they're sensitive to your energy, they'll feel that. And the people who have that same resonance will gravitate towards you and help to fulfill that experience for you. If you go into the store frustrated, you have an angry face, you're expecting a bad interaction, people will pick up on your face, people will pick up on your energy, and people of the same energy will gravitate towards you in the store to give you the experience that you're feeling. Okay? So manage your energy. Manage your energy to give you the fruit that you want, to give you the results of any situation that you end up in, the result that you want. Have the energy of that experience. Okay. We accept the idea that of a first cause. If we accept the idea of that of a first cause consciousness, it would follow that the evolution of that cause could never result in anything foreign to itself. So let me keep going. That is, if the first cause, the origin substance, if the origin is light, all its evolutions, fruits, and manifestations will remain light. You're not going to be looking at an orange tree expecting apples to fall out of it. Okay? Which made me think of, in the same house, if you've ever seen Boys in the Hood, the two brothers, Doughboy and Ricky, their mom, as it was stated in the movie, she liked Ricky's father better than she liked Doughboy's father. And so the energy that she gave to each of these children was very different. The expectations that she had for each of these children was very different based on her affection or lack thereof for their father. And as the movie went on, Ricky was the one that was the football star. He was the one making his way towards college. Doughboy was the one who was selling drugs. He was the one hanging out on the street, you know, not any he didn't have any strong long-term expectations for himself. He was of the hood, he was going to stay in the hood, that type of thing. And it panned out up until Ricky got shot. you know the energy that the mom fed into each of her children reflected in the type of child that she ended up with. you know Ricky felt that he had the support to be able to move forward in his football career, to aim for college, to get out of the neighborhood. And his brother, who was growing up in the same house, did not feel that for himself. His mother was probably telling him, you're not gonna be shit. You just like your daddy, da 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 da. So within himself, he did not um he did not generate. The ceiling is shaking. My neighbors walk heavy. Oh my gosh. Okay. At old dark 30 in the night. Please stop. So from the same tree with different same family tree with different energy directed towards them, her sons were on two different trajectories. Okay. And it was primarily because of the energy that she fed them. I'm quoting Mr. Goddard as saying, all that could be observed would be a higher or lower form or variation of the same thing. So let me keep reading. The life or quality of life that you have is a result of what you accept as true for yourself. Nothing beats a fail but a try. And if you never make an effort, you automatically fail. That's from my part of the notes. But Mr. Goddard said that all that could be observed would be of a higher or lower variation of the same thing. So back to the Boys in the Hood example, Ricky would be the more higher energy variation of the fruit of this woman, and Doughboy was the lower energy um, variation of the energy of this woman. Okay. Have you accepted the program? Moving on a little bit. Okay. If you're observant, you know that we've been given a program that sets expectations on our ability to achieve. This system decides, with the use of the educational system, this social system that we're living in decides how far people can go, what they're able to achieve, what kind of finances they can expect, what kind of treatment they can expect. Okay? Have you accepted this program? Just because this is the program that we've been given does not mean that this is the program we have to accept, does not mean that this is the program that we have to function within. Okay? It takes it takes a person that's willing and able to step back and take a look at how things function, to be able to think outside of the box, to be able to imagine a different reality. And really, this is an exercising of our imaginations to build a different reality. In this last 2 years, quite a few people have established new realities for themselves financially because they had to. Okay. When folks were moved out of the workplace, to try to stay safe, they still had to get their bills paid. They figured out how to do that. If they had any kind of talents, whatever they were using in the workforce, they were able to parlay that into an online course or to branch off into some other kind of business. Maybe there was something that they wanted to try out, but they finally had the time to do it. And with minimal resources, a lot of times people were able to redesign how their finances were coming in. Okay. It is a possibility. Usually people move en masse when they have to, but it's usually a chosen few who just of their own, because that's how they're cut, they automatically think out of the box. They question some of everything. Having questions is not a bad thing, especially when it leads you to a new and different understanding of what's able for yourself, what you can achieve, what you can reach. Having a different perspective, developing your imagination regarding what your capabilities are and how far you can take it. I mean, think about it. I'm going to get to it later. I'm going to get to it soon enough. Um, Being able to expand your mind, to imagine the possibilities, is the only barrier for what we can achieve in this life on this realm. Have you accepted the program? What does that have you believe about you and what you are allowed to have, allowed to accomplish? What do you want out of the program? Develop your plan, get your mindset right, take action, and don't give up. Now, a lot of times, if you've ever seen The Matrix, there's a lot of people, there are agents walking around who want to promote the status quo, regardless of the feelings or the survival of individuals. There are people who are committed to continuing to go along with the program. They've also been referred to as sheeple. There are benefits to being a sheeple, but if you've gotten to the point where you feel there's something more to this life for you, and I'm going to refer you once again, I'm going to refer you, no, I guess this would be the first time, to, well, depending on if you're watching my other channel. Okay. If you're watching my other channel, you've heard me talk about Just As I Am, the biography of Cicely Tyson. You have to read this. At in the effort of sharing our stories, reading biographies are the best way to grasp onto other people's experiences, to see the commonalities, to see the blessings, to see the magic happen. When we listen to each other's stories, when we watch our successes, our failures, our tries, it expands our lives. Okay, it has the ability to expand our life. If we can't see something automatically, if we can't see differences automatically in our personal lives, oftentimes we can recognize possibilities in other people's stories. So I encourage you to read biographies. Okay, if there's any auntie or uncle that got a book out there that you are interested in their life, you're interested in their backstory, how they came to be as successful as they are, how they came to be renowned as they are, how they came to be infamous, infamous, the other side of the spectrum. Okay. Read that biography. Take notes. Even if the notes say, don't do X, Y, and Z. In the interest of hearing each other's stories, sharing each other's stories, and expanding the quality of our lives, read her book for sure. All righty. So develop your plan, get your mindset right. Whatever thought processes you need to keep repeating, whatever affirmations you need to have at the forefront of your mind at the beginning and the end of every day, write it down. The power of the pen is a thing. Okay. Speaking your intentions out loud, speaking your intentions out loud is an exercise of power. It activates the ether in your benefit. Okay. And I'm going to drop a little jewel right here. If you remember when people were repeating the phrase, I can't breathe, or when they were repeating the phrase, stop killing us. If you think about it, that's kind of a low vibrational, those are low vibrational statements because the key word is can't breathe, or key phrase is can't breathe, can't. Can't is the key word in one, and kill is the key word in the other one, which is why we got more people killed and, more people suffering under that I can't breathe thing. More people were dying from the thing with people out in the streets talking about I can't breathe and stop killing us. Okay, so word usage is very important. The power of the pen and the power of your words energetically, you have to pay attention to that. So using words like flourishing, achievement, gain, um, resilience, you know, words with positive connotations are the words that you want to choose in order to um, develop your affirmations, to develop your notes. You want to use words that are going to promote you, project you into the reality that you want. Don't use words that are going to hold you back, keep you in a mind state that'll get you more of what you've gotten. Okay? Don't fall into the definition of crazy, doing the same thing and expecting different results. No. Choose your words to project you to where you want to be and use those words constantly. Okay? For example, fail, try, and succeed. You don't want to say, I don't want to fail at this, because even the don't, the negation, the I don't want to fail at this is speaking on a negative range. If you say, I'm trying to do this, trying is half ass. The energy is weak. It's potentially positive because you're making the effort to get to where you want to go, but the energy is too weak. Succeeding, achieving, attaining, gaining. I am gaining I am gaining the status that I'm reaching for. I'm gaining that level of financial stability. I'm gaining the love that I'm calling to my life. Um, don't speak loss. Don't speak loss. Don't speak lack. Okay. When you're saying your affirmations, choose your words to be positive and powerful. Okay. Let's see. You were given a plan. You can make a different plan. You can make your own plan. If you notice apparent contradictions, antagonisms, and contrasts in your life, examine your thoughts, your beliefs about what is possible for you. So if you're saying one thing and experiencing something different, I had a mentor use the example of having a constant money shortage. She said that there was a part of her that liked being in struggle mode. Okay. When she realized there was a part of her that liked being in struggle mode, she had to fully accept that and change the trajectory of that mindset. Okay. So look for contradictions between your words and your actions and your results. If there's any antagonism, if there's any resistance, if you're saying one thing or if you're intending one thing and getting different results, examine your word usage, like I said, and examine what are you used to? Where is your comfort level? Because in coming up with this new paradigm for yourself, you are changing changing a long held belief, you're changing a long held paradigm, you are changing your focus from what feels comfortable and natural for you. So it's going to be an effort. You got to be conscious. You're going to be making an effort. It's going to be uncomfortable. It might be very, very much uncomfortable, but that's not to say that you should not continue there. Resistance is okay. Resistance is normal. Resistance is a part of change. Okay. Think of the caterpillar in its cocoon. When it's in its chrysalis phase, it's going through a bunch of changes physically on the inside of this cocoon. It needs to move its body around, push itself in order to break out of the cocoon. And in that pushing and pulling process, It's developing the strength that it needs for its wings in order to be able to fly in its next phase. So discomfort, resistance is part of the growing process, okay? So examine your thoughts, examine your beliefs about what is possible for you. What were you told as a kid? What is your favorite refrain? What statements do you repeat automatically? Examine your default statements. Are you in competition with other people? Is the competition in your mind or is it in reality? Um, the playing field is wide open. So really, it's just a matter of where we are, our perception of the playing field. You know, if we feel that we're in competition with other people, if we see them making strides ahead of us, it might have us feeling defeated. Um, it might make us consider changing our minds about continuing on this journey. Don't let it do that. Your competition is you. Your only competition is you. It's not time. It's not five other people who've been down this road before you, because those five other people have five different kinds of energy. They're going to have people gravitate to them who are not people that would gravitate to you. You have people who would become your ideal clients, based on your energy, based on how you express yourself, based on your personality, your character, your communication style. There will be people who will specifically gravitate towards you. So don't worry about other people and what they seem to be succeeding with. Their energy is different. Their results will be different. Talking about, what is that young man's name? I can see his face. The marathon. It's going to come to me. It's on the tip of my tongue. But he promoted a bunch of his circle, a bunch of the dudes in his circle. He promoted them, pushed them, encouraged them to do different things, to try different things. And he said some of them flew past him in their successes, and some of them were more slow moving. They were moving, but it was slower. Some flew past him, some didn't do anything with the information he gave them at all, and some were moving a bit slower than everybody else, but there was movement, okay? So your only competition is yourself. And as I said, the playing field is wide open. They may have a similar product, but they don't sell it like you do. They don't have your personality. Your personality attracts people to you, people who the other folks can't pull in, like I just said. Mr. Goddard, I'm quoting him as saying, the rich man, poor man, beggar man, or thief are not different minds, but different arrangements of the same mind. Okay, so we're back to the understanding that we are all aspects of I am, the great I am, the great consciousness, having individual experiences. So we're different arrangements of the same mind. You know, um, the same divine consciousness produced each of the above through configuring the mindsets differently. So different mindsets produce the rich man, a different mindset produced the poor man, a different mindset produced the beggar man and the thief. They are all of the same consciousness, but the configuration of the mindsets was different. So how they made their money was different. Okay, how they accumulated their wealth or did not was based on their mindset. The same divine consciousness produced each of the above through. I said that already. How do you want to make? How do you want to make your money? How do you want to live your life? with the example, here we go, of Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street, the different, I think there was more than one, um, developed through the Reconstruction period. Reconstruction was like right after slavery. Now, during the slavery period, there were some Black folks who were free conducting business. There were some Black folks who came out of the agricultural, the trades, um, inventors. Okay. I'm going to look up Talam AC right now because I know he had a post recently. There we go. I enjoy this man. All right, here it is. His quote was that slaves were not taken from Africa. Teachers, healers, architects, scientists, artists, beauticians, etc., were taken and made into slaves. So people with all kinds of different talents were released into the world that existed in the United States during the Reconstruction period. And it took the conscious efforts of outside sources to agree to infringe on those circumstances to bring it down. The people who created Black Wall Street, the people who created the banks, the people who, Black folks who created banks, Black folks who built churches, schools, hospitals, doctors' offices, full community businesses, every aspect of the community that needed to be, from the plumber on up to the mayor of their individual localities. They had natural skills and they had the imagination to go for what it was they wanted to produce at the time. Okay. And they were very successful. So don't ever think that because of your circumstances, you can't do. They were coming straight out of being enslaved or in circumstances that restricted their abilities. And even in their restrictions, there were people who were blacksmiths, there were people who were seamstresses, tailors, you know, whatever the community needed, there was Black folks in those fields conducting business, working their trade, and being very successful at it. They were innovators. Okay. In those circumstances, they were able to produce Black Wall Streets in different areas of this country. And as I said, it took a conscious effort of outside sources agreeing to infringe on the circumstances to bring it down. Um, Health, wealth, beauty, and genius are not created; they are only manifested by the arrangement of your mind. So the limit is your imagination. What is that is by your concept of yourself, all that you accept and consent to as true. This is a quote from him. All that you accept and consent to as true is within the scope of your abilities to produce. In terms of health, think about the placebo effect. Some people have had full reversal of their illnesses just by using their minds. They think they're getting medication, they're thinking health, they're believing in health, they're taking in the nutrients and things that they need, and they've had a full reversal of their illnesses. In terms of wealth, Black Wall Street again, and I would also point you towards immigrants within the first two generations have come to the United States, have gone to other countries and created lasting wealth. These are people considered to be at a disadvantage who are making it happen within two generations for their families, purely off of the limits of their imaginations. In terms of beauty, confidence, character, and love. Inner beauty, characteristics of inner beauty, having confidence, being a loving person, um, makes a person beautiful. In terms of genius, think of West Indian Archie. Um, if you've watched the Malcolm X biography by Spike Lee, if you've ever read the autobiography of Malcolm X, West Indian Archie and folks like him it was said about them that under different conditions, they could have been great mathematicians and scientists. They could have came up with the cure for cancer. But because of their circumstances, they worked within their circumstances and they were making money how they can make money. They had the skills. Um, they had the math skills. They had the science skills, and they created their business. Unfortunately, it was like underworld type stuff, criminal activities, but they were very skilled in their criminal activities. Okay. And with that, yeah, that's pretty much what I got out of chapter 2. We will continue with chapter 3. The Power of Assumption is the title of that chapter. And I'm going to do more reading of his actual words because they were full sections that it was just too much for me to copy. If I could read it and paraphrase or expound on it, I'll do that. But that's chapter 3. I noticed that was the circumstances while I was doing my study for that. But here we are, spoon feeding, learning new concepts. If you're new, it is my intention to teach to become a better student, and I'm bringing you in on my studies. The book, The Power of Awareness, is available as several different audiobooks on YouTube. If you check your local library, you might be able to find it as an ebook. If you go to NevilleGoddardPDF.com and scroll down, you'll see The Power of Awareness and other of his books. So you can follow along with me if you would like, or just take in my notes, listen to it more than once because it's deep and it's different, and the possibilities are so vast. I'm so glad that you are joining me here. Please continue to come back. As I said before, if you have any questions, comments, leave them below, and it might be the topic of another class once we're finished with this book. So thank you. Have a good evening, and we'll continue on next week, Wednesday at 7:30. Okay?